appreciate it. I always enjoy being here. Before I get started, I just want to point out that I'm proudly wearing the shirt, the team uniform of the CNMI that they used at the Conference on Business Opportunities in the Islands. I was just in Guam. We had our conference the last 3 days, and that's why I was in the neighborhood. I was able to come over, but there was an excellent CNMI team. You could see them everywhere because they were wearing this shirt. And just this morning, I was touring with people who were doing a project up on the northern end of the island that hopefully is going to can turn into a major economic development in agriculture, and some industrial uses as well. So I want to express my appreciation for the CNMI team that was at our conference by wearing their shirt. I'm just going to say a couple of things about what we're doing on federalization, and do my best to sort of explain the process a little bit. And what I really want to do also after that is listen to what other people have to say, listen to what all of you have to say, answer any questions that you might have, because as much talk as has been gone around about federalization, I still find that a lot of people, I'd say most people, don't really fully know what's in the bill, and they don't fully know what the process is. And that's not your fault. It's very complicated. The issue is very complicated. The process is very complicated. I didn't understand the process before I had this job, so there are a lot of issues that are difficult to fully get the complexity of. Maybe I can give you a little background on what the federal government, what our position is. Actually, the administration, we're one branch of the federal government, and what it's not, and how we got to this point. And then I can tell you or reiterate what my administration's position is and why we take that position. And my purpose is not to convince anybody that they should agree with my administration or disagree. I just want to understand that people understand what we have said, what we have not said, and what our reasons are for for supporting federalization. And the other thing I want to say, maybe I'll say it now and repeat it later, that this is a very important issue. It's a very difficult issue, and it's a very emotional issue. And these are difficult times in the CNMI, as all of you know. I don't have to tell you that. People are worried about how they're going to pay their power bill. People are worried about their future. People are losing jobs. People don't know what's happening to the economy. When JAL pulled out a couple years ago, and the garment factories closed down, and the government has lost so much revenue. So, there's a lot of anxiety in the community, and I understand that very much. And I guess my plea is that let's not take that anxiety out on other people, because really everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's concerned. I go around talking to whoever really wants to listen and whoever wants to, hear our view, because that's a public service. That's really my job. So, guest workers, want to hear what I have to say, I'll be there. If Taotao Tano, locals, Chamorros, Carolinians want to hear what I have to say, I'll be there. And hopefully, I like to speak to everybody all at the same time, because I tell everybody the same thing anyway. But I really think it's important for all of us to remember that reasonable people can disagree. Nobody's a genius here. Nobody has the one answer that they're right and everybody else is wrong. That's why it's important for people in the federal government to listen to the views of everybody in the community and try to sort it out. And that's what I've tried to do. Of course, everyone's telling me different things, so it gets a little confusing, but it's important to continue the process. I'll explain the process. I have some folks here with me from my office. Jeff Shore, of course, is our field rep. Jim Benedetto, the federal ombudsman, is here, and he has a special role, in he works with the guest workers. It's often noted in the press that I wrote the bill, especially the Senate bill, but actually that's shorthand for my team drafted the original bill, and the person that did the most work is Jim Benedetto. It was a collaborative effort. I signed off on everything, but Jim pulled the biggest labor order by far, and there were a bunch of us over at Interior that were working on it. If you want to know who drafted what provision, any provision in the bill that you like, I drafted, and any provision in the bill that you don't like, Jim drafted. And I realize that for some of you that means that Jim Benedetto drafted the entire bill, but different people can have different opinions on that. Let me quickly explain the process, and I hope this doesn't get too boring, but I think it's important to understand, what my administration's role in all of this has been. First of all, going back, several years, every administration, going back to the Reagan administration, has expressed concerns about the Northern Mariana Islands. So the Reagan and the labor and immigration situation in the Northern Mariana Islands. President Reagan's administration did, the first President Bush, President Clinton, and now President Bush. Going back into 2001, that's when the federalization issue was last intensely debated. That's the very beginning of my administration. And in fact, before I even had my job, I didn't join the administration until 2002. But back in 2001, there was a bill to federalize immigration in the Northern Mariana Islands. We call it the Murkowski bill. It was drafted by a Republican, Frank Murkowski of Alaska. That bill passed the Senate, I believe unanimously, and the Bush administration, my administration, before I was a member of it, endorsed that bill. It said, we strongly support this bill.